All right, this is a matter before the Idaho Department of Lands in the matter of the application for permit encroachment L9685863A for construction of 2 boat garages on existing dock. Lewis E. Patrick Trust dated April 8th, 1999 as applicant. Agency case number Ph-2026-NAV-20-001. Office of Administrative Hearings, case number 26-320-03. We're here for the evidentiary hearing in this proceeding. We have several individuals joining online, most of which are with IDL. There's one I don't recognize that I'll ask you to identify yourself. The screen is listed as Michelle. Can someone that's viewing this from the Zoom link named Michelle, let me identify yourself and who you are with?
It might be at the S. Yeah, I think Michelle is with
Okay.
IDL.
Michelle, can you confirm if you're with IDL? Okay, we are gonna assume that Michelle is with IDL on the assurances of Kayleen Richter, counsel for IDL. So with that, we've got a full conference room here today. I will do a few introductions. We have Mr. Peter Smith representing the applicant in these proceedings. We have Kayleen Richter representing the Department of Lands, and we have Art Iceline representing the objectors in this proceeding. So I was asked to do a review of the order of proceedings before we begin here today. I will have IDL present its position statement first. To the extent applicant wants to extrapolate from what is presented by IDL, applicant is free to do so next. To the extent IDL covered everything the applicant desires to cover in these proceedings, you may just adopt their position statement in total. We will then have objectors present their objection in this proceeding, and then applicant and IDL will be given a chance to respond. And then we will take public comment to the extent there is any, seeing no members of the public in this room at this point in time, and nobody contacted my office to provide comment via the Zoom link, so I don't anticipate that will occur. So with that, we may begin. Ms. Richter, will you please call your first witness?
Thank you, Hearing Officer. Mr. Amer could not be here in person today. He had a family obligation, and as there is no real public interest in this, in large part, IDL's presentation for the public is to give an overview of the application, which all present here understand today. So IDL will be resting on its pre-hearing statement and on the record as is, and that the documents in the record speak for themselves. To the extent that there are legal issues that the hearing officer that may come up in this hearing, IDL would request some to provide a post-hearing briefing to address any of those.
So let me come at this a different way. Is your pre-hearing statement based in part on any staff memorandum prepared by Mr. Amer?
No.
Okay. So with that, Mr. Smith?
No, I think I want to reserve the right to call witnesses after I get a little more information on the objector's position.
Okay.
So we'll call witnesses after we hear that. Since all the documents were admitted earlier today, I think it's more of a rebuttal to whatever comes in. We do have several witnesses here that will likely testify after we hear from the objector.
Okay. With that, I should have stated that on the record once we were recording that yes, we had left it open, but all exhibits in a conference we held before going on the record in these proceedings have been admitted by stipulation, which at the pre-hearing we had left open. And I believe that extends to applicant's exhibit 14, which Mr. Sargent or Mr. Smith can clarify that this is an exhibit that's already in the record, just larger.
That is correct. This is a larger printout so that the numbers on the page are more easily readable for those of us that need glasses to read it. But other than that, it's exactly the same.
Okay, any objection to exhibit 14, the larger print?
Just the reference to the glasses.
Okay.
None from IDL.
None from IDL, none from objectors. There's a copy for you, Mr. Weislein, if you desire one. Okay, any objection to presenting your objection and your witnesses at this point in time, and then having Mr. Smith provide further context on the application in light of those objections?
No, just to clarify, my pre-hearing statement is considered part of the record.
Correct.
Okay. Then I would just call Margaret Williams.
Okay, Ms. Williams, can you raise your right hand for me to swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Real quick, I agree with Department of Lands that if there are issues that you believe should be further briefed, that I think that's a good idea, situation like this.
Okay, wonderful.
Ms. Williams, you have objected to these two boat garage applications. What is your objection as far as the aesthetics placement of these garages?
Well, first of all, it's the placement of the two garages from our property. I mean, I was just down on the beach yesterday. From our if we're sitting on our beach around our campfire spot, which is pretty far off the property line, the way that this is proposed to be laid out with two garages that appear offset and not connected, from our vantage point, it is, in reality, it looks like a one complete solid wall, or will look like one complete solid wall. From our perspective, that is a massive above water structure. The combination of both, it obstructs our entire shoreline view. It obstructs our view of Bottle Bay, Gold Hill. It will obstruct our view along the shoreline from Bottle Bay towards Anderson Point. So I think of it in terms of a clock. If our beach is from 9 to 3 o'clock, it takes out from about 3 to just past 1 o'clock of what a view from just enjoying and sitting on our own beach.
And you have other objections that you stated that are a part of the record. Do you still hold all those other objections to this also?
I do. My first objection was when we got the information and were asked to review that, and if myself or Kevin Chadwick, the other neighbor, had any objections, what struck me initially was that the information that was provided to IDL was false. The depiction of the dock was not as the dock was. And so I was like, well, how can they make a decision on this? This is not even accurate. As I mentioned in my objection, I believe Mr. Patrick got a special permit for his dock because it would sit further out from the shoreline. We got notice of that, and neither Kevin nor I objected to that. After the dock was built, I'd say probably a month and a half after it was built, the dock building company was back and they were installing where the kayak slips are. They were installing an understructure and additional dock decking. That was only removed, which was in violation of the dock permit. That was only removed approximately, I'd say, 10 to 12 days before this application came through. So initially I was thought, well, this is, they're not providing accurate information to IDL to even consider this permit for the boat garage. So that's initially what I was objecting to. I don't think hearing that after the fact makes the application correct or something they can review. Because once they got caught, then suddenly the decking is removed off the dock and the understructure is removed to make it appear that the dock has been in compliance with the actual dock permit. So that was my initial objection that kind of got me thinking about this.
Have you had discussions with Louis Patrick about these boat garages?
No,
Have you had discussions with anybody else about these boat garages? Anybody associated with Mr. Patrick?
I've become aware in that there's other boat garages being built, one in Bottle Bay. That I believe is acquaintance of Mr. Patrick's, and a few others. And then just discussions with neighbors and Mr. Chow.
And do you have any other objections to these boat garages?
It's beyond just the aesthetics of it, it changes the nature of that shoreline. We've been there since 1969. There is one boat garage on West Oden Bay. It was Mr. Wagner's and it was probably built in the late 60s. It's just the volume of asking for two. I mean, one is one thing, two is another. It changes the aesthetics of the entire bay and what neighbors have been used to. I mean, everyone has a dock, everyone enjoys their docks. Most people put a boat lift in with a canopy. There's no other boat garages. And mainly because they're not allowed anymore.
I don't think I have any further questions.
I only have one. You seemed to situate this exhibit 14 in a way when you were describing your shoreline in relation to this project. Where would your property?
We're here.
Okay, so the top
So it should be north.
left hand.
Yeah.
Nobody makes fun of me for that.
We're here and Kevin is to the right. Mr. Chen.
Thank you for that. That was the only question I had. Maybe. One more question about, just so I'm a visual person, which is why I talk about on-site inspections so frequently. So this is the property of the trust. Are you to the right or to the left?
To the left, to the right next door.
Okay, thank you. That,
Madam Hearing Officer, were you looking at?
oh,
page
sorry,
21 of 35 of exhibit 8B8?
yes,
And you said the witness identified her property as being to the left of the dot identified as 941 West Wooden Road.
yes,
Okay.
yes, thank you for that
So that would
clarifying
be
point.
to the
To
south.
the, no, to the, if you're looking at, it's on
It
the
would
picture
be
to the
east.
right.
She's to the north.
I'm to the north.
Oh,
So
so
she's to the right of that.
to the right, not to the left.
Yeah.
Yeah. If north is the top of the page.
Yes, correct.
To the right. So the dot on page 21 of exhibit applicant 8, you are to the right, which is east of the property,
East, northeast, yeah.
northeast.
Kevin is on the other side.
Okay. Mr. Smith, any questions for this witness?
Yes, I could. You mentioned the aesthetics and the view from your property of these boat garages and how they're configured. Are there any other objections that you have to these boat garages other than that view?
Well, I think there's always concern on Lake Pend for overshading. You know, if I was gonna go down the environmental route and bull trout and increase in bass population, we're not trying to do that on Lake Pend because of how the smallmouth bass take over. I mean, I guess I don't have, I haven't read anything from the Corps or any approval or disapproval, any concern from that, but, you know, just as a regular person living on the lake, I know that it's not favored to increase the degree of shading, and if you throw in that and the combination of the increase in the decking by 200 square feet in violation of the dock permit, which, I mean, the decking and the infrastructure is sitting right there on the shoreline still, and I anticipate that's gonna go right back in. That is a massive amount of shading when you combine the three. So just as a user of the lake and knowing the bull trout and
And just so we're clear, the extra decking you're referring to was something that was inspected by Idaho Department of Lands and then it was removed from the docks, is that correct?
I just know it's removed from the dock very shortly before this application was made. It wasn't,
Do you know who removed it?
I'm assuming the dock building company, but I don't know. I did not see it being removed.
On the bull trout issue you mentioned, is that just your opinion or I didn't see anything in the record that you submitted regarding scientific evidence related to that?
I was gonna rely on those that are there to protect the lake and the agencies that look into that to have actually reviewed this and to see if there was in fact any effect on it. But just as a general user of the lake and in Sampo, I mean, people are very aware of that issue.
So the objections I'm hearing are, one, the view. Is that correct? And it comes
The view of
1 to 3 o'clock from standing on your beach. If
Sitting where we normally sit on our beach.
perpendicular out is noon or 12, 1 and 3 is the issue that you're talking about. That's one objection.
On the shoreline, yeah.
And the other is your belief that extra shading could have an impact on fisheries, but you don't have any evidence for that, just your
No.
opinion.
Opinion.
And then your third objection is that the fact that you speculate that the Patricks will willfully violate the law as soon as they get their boat garages to put that decking back on.
I suspect it's sitting down there for a reason. They have a bunch of backhoes that can move it up the hill right now. And based on their past behavior. And then my other objection was that the application was inaccurate.
Have you reviewed the documents that were submitted in support of this case?
Most.
And are you familiar with the IDL regulations regarding boat garages?
I've read through it, yeah.
And do you have any understanding of the footprint of what's being constructed compared to what was down in Hebron State Park?
I've seen the comparison of what was destroyed down there and what is proposed on the architect's drawings.
And what's do you have any conclusion on that comparison?
Again, it seems like the way that it's being presented is if you're within the width, height dimensions.
And do you have any evidence to suggest that's not true?
No, I don't know what those other boathouses had with regard to doors and windows and that, but as far as the dimensions, it's based on what's been presented, it's within what was destroyed.
So based on the evidence that you've seen, the boathouse garages that were destroyed, the ones that will be rebuilt as allowed by law, will be essentially the same footprint, is that correct?
If they're allowed to be built, they'll be, yeah. But they're also a combination of two, which in practical terms is, I would argue, one, because of there's only 4 foot area between them. So
Do you disagree with the premise that there were 2 boat garage permits issued for the Hebron State Park?
no,
And do you disagree with the premise that those permits were assigned to Patrick's?
no,
So there is permits for 2 boat garages, is that correct?
under the the way IDL was doing it, yes.
So your statement that it's one is a practical view, you're looking out there and saying they're gonna be close enough together, so from your view, they're really one as
The
opposed
effect
to
would
two.
be one,
Understood.
large one.
I have no further questions for this witness.
Okay. Ms. Richter, I had one prompted by Mr. Smith's questions. Do you mind if I hop in there? Go for it. You said that the application was inaccurate. Which part of the application was inaccurate?
The drawing of the dock
Okay, so it relates back
to the dock, but they didn't present it as
Okay.
as the kayak slips were closed off. The under support for the decking to go back in was still in place when they made application. They had removed the decking a week or 2 weeks before they made application. The decking was sitting right here on the dock, but the infrastructure underneath was still in place, which was not part of the dock permit, which when we didn't object to it, that wasn't in the dock permit, the dock design, when we did not object to the dock.
Okay. That was the only question I had, Ms. Richter.
That would be the question that one.
Okay. Yank the plug out of the computer. Any further redirect, Mr. Beislein? Okay. With that, did you have any additional witnesses?
No.
I knew from your witness statement you didn't, but I'll ask. Mr. Smith,
Yeah, I'd like to call Lewis Patrick, please.
okay?
Patrick, you want to come over here? Sure. Maybe you and Brian can switch, or you can sit here either way.
Mr. Patrick, would you raise your right hand for me? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Mr. Smith, you may proceed.
Thank you. Mr. Patrick, could you just state your full name?
Lewis D. Patrick,
And where do you reside?
both, well, mostly in Mount Arizona.
What city in Arizona do you reside in?
Paradise Valley,
And you own the property adjacent or adjoining the property owned by the Williams LLC?
Correct.
And you're familiar with that property? Are you familiar with your other neighbor on the other side?
Yes.
Who's that?
Kevin Chatwick,
This is waterfront property, is it?
it is,
And did you install a dock on your property?
yes,
You heard some testimony here today while you were sitting here. Could you hear the testimony
yes,
about that dock?
yes,
Did that dock have some decking on it that you removed in January of this year?
yes.
Could you explain why you removed that decking?
So there are kayak slips in that decking, and what I asked our contractor to remove, because they're the removable dock, that slips decking for those slips. So I asked them to take it out, and they sent somebody out and they took all the slats off the decking, which they're built to be removed in whole. And so that's what Margaret was, she's pertaining to the under decking racking for the slats were still there because it's separated and I should have taken off all of the long.
So I think so most of us have never been to the property, so maybe you could just explain to us what existed, what's a kayak slip? What are you referring to?
So the dock goes out, it's all 4 foot wide docking. So the dock goes out and then it goes to the left or to the north along the boat slip, and then it goes to the right, and then there's a kayak slip, and then there's deck docking 4 feet, and then a 3 foot kayak slip, and another 4 foot of dock.
And are the kayak slips intended to like you pull in your kayak after you go out and paddle and dock it there?
You can kayak, personal stand-up water sports can be easily in and out of the dock, and then also stand-up personal watercraft can be used the same way.
So I'm gonna direct the witness to, I'm using my binder here to exhibit APP8, page 6 of 35. Do you recognize, which, and what do you recognize? Do you see the dock that you were describing? You, just go ahead and point at it, so you see it.
This is about 4 foot, well, these are 3 foot kayak slopes. These are working kayak slopes. Yeah, 4 foot.
And when you talked about the decking that was there prior to January, was it in those gaps or in those slips?
Correct. It's a different material than the dock itself, so this is the dock is constructed of for 6-inch board that's made for docks. And that is all docks, and then this is, Stancraft built the dock and they call that a flow through decking. So it's a different decking material, it's called flow through, and so that's what they sat in there and they built it to be removable. So you could put it there and take it out.
So, Mr. Smith, is he pointing to these two little offshoots directly, looks like above boat garage B?
You're correct. Just so we can clarify the record, do you see where it says boat garage B?
Little drawings. So this dock comes out and then it turns this way. And then this is vacant, and then it goes out in the middle, that's vacant, and then it goes out from here to here and again. So all of this would be gray docking material. This was, it had flow through decking installed that was supposed to be removable, you could put it in or take it out.
On my exhibit, did I highlight the right sections of the removable portions?
Yes.
Okay, and I don't want to spend too much time because I do agree with Department of Land's position that the issue in this proceeding is the new permit for the boat garages and not the existing permit and compliance therewith, but I want to make sure I understand what it is we're talking about.
And I think it's also important for the witness to explain, since he was being challenged on that point. The temporary decking you referred to has been removed. Do you understand that that may not be reinstalled? Is that your understanding?
I'm unaware that it can be, if it's removable, can it be placed out there for an hour a day and taken off for an hour a day? It was designed to be removable, so is that not allowed?
Did the Idaho Department of Lands request that you remove it?
No.
And why did you remove it?
Because it's removable and we take it out, it's going to be taken out anywhere in the winter.
And where is the material right now? It's up on the beach.
Yeah, we check.
If IDL were to tell you you're not allowed to put that temporary decking back on, would you comply with that?
Well, I'm confused. Are we here to talk about the dock? Are we talking about the dock today, or are we talking about boat garages?
We're talking about boat garage.
Okay, so let's keep it to boat garages. I don't know why.
Well, you've been accused of not following the IDL rules, and I assume if the IDL is a rule, you'll follow that rule.
Of course, someone needs to tell me what the rules are.
But if the rules are made clear to you, you will follow those rules.
Of course.
I have no further questions for you.
I would like to explain one thing about the 1 to 3 viewpoint, and the reason this becomes one solid wall from the viewpoint of the lot to the north. And if you look at where the boat garages are positioned, they become 45 feet from one property line, 42 feet from another property line, which I think we're obligated to be 25 feet off the property line, but we push them together. If we were to move them back to the 25 mark, we could move it out 20 feet if that would make the neighbors happy. We could move it 25 feet toward the property line, and this one 25 feet to the other side, spread them out so you could see through. That would make sense, but it doesn't make sense. In my opinion, it makes sense to keep them compacted instead of spreading them out across the 155-foot lot. But I can see your point. The other thing I thought would touch on is that, I understand that nothing's been built since 1969, but, in 1969, these lots are probably, $30,000 at this point in time. In our lifetime, anyway, the current state of affairs, they're very expensive lots.
I have no further questions.
Okay.
Thank you, Will.
Yeah.
Mr. Vice, I may have a couple of questions. And IDL has been.
Any questions?
Yeah.
Okay, proceed.
Mr. Lewis, how long have you lived in North Idaho? Or have residence, excuse me?
Since 2007.
And have you always lived on waterfront property?
Pretty much, yes.
Where did you live before this parcel?
109 Birchwood,
When that's waterfront?
yes.
Did you live on any other waterfront or did you move from that address to this one?
No, I had another home, 106 Jackman Way,
Also waterfront?
yes,
And did you have docks on both of those?
yes.
When did you first,
I take that back, 106 Jackman Way did not have a dock.
Okay.
Did not have
do you only intend on just parking boats in these garage and maybe storing things that are, usually associated with boats, like maybe spare life jackets and that kind of thing?
Yeah, and watercraft.
You don't have any intention of recreating out of these boat garages at all? I mean, like relaxing in them or using them as more or less like a waterfront house? Well, why are there glass doors in the front of them?
Well, as Miss Williams said, that their shading is an issue. And aesthetically, these boat garages are going to aesthetically look like the home that we're building above them. So from my point of view, when you look from the lake from the dock to our boathouse garages to the home, it will be all what's the word? Run into the cohesive.
Yeah, certainly no objection from a, architectural review board standpoint. I mean, I think they're a pretty design, it's just the location of this problem. What public benefit do you see to you having a boat garage?
I can't answer that. I don't know.
When did you first ever consider wanting a boat?
Really, well, I mean, there's a boat garage on our street, and so I guess since 2007, we probably have a boat garage.
Did you ever look into the ability to get one?
It was my understanding that unless they were grandfathered in, that they were not existent. That was not existent unless it was grandfathered in.
How did you discover these boat garages?
I don't remember how I discovered it, but I guess I just reading, found out that there were some boat garage permits available and I started digging into it.
And if you recall, I mean, I guess like you had the MLS for a piece of real estate. Where did you figure out? I mean, who told you that these permits were available and that you could purchase them?
A friend of mine, their acquaintance, had purchased one, and so I dug into it. There were a few more available.
Did you have any concerns about moving the boat garage from that lake to Monterey?
By that lake, you mean like Coeur d'Alene?
Coeur d'Alene, yeah, sorry, that's showing my bias, Moraine Lake versus Glacial Lake, 200 feet, 1,200.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Did you have any concern about the ability to take a existing boat garage from one lake and move it to another?
No, it's my understanding that the law permits the boat permit to be moved to any lake in Idaho.
And unless it was your attorney, who told you that?
I don't remember who.
I don't have any further questions.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Richter? Yeah.
Rose. I'm gonna hand you, oh. Those are, Leah's exhibits. Could you please flip to IDL 11? Please, and page 4.
Yeah.
Do you recognize this?
Yes.
And can you confirm that this is the permit for your,
It is.
do you see where it says, in that table encroachment, single family dock? Third line of the table.
Yes, sorry.
Could you read the description?
4 foot by 54 foot walkway, 57 foot by 18 foot T-shaped pier with 2 kayak slips.
Thank you, and next to that, it says 700 square feet, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and then if I can have you flip forward a couple pages to page 12. For me, please. Is this an accurate depiction of your existing dock?
Yep.
And do you see what it says total area over water equals 700 square feet?
Uh-huh.
Thank you. I will represent to you that under IDAPA 20.03.04.015 .01B, which is for single family and 2 family docks, it states the total surface decking area waterward of the natural or ordinary or artificial high water mark may not exceed 700 square feet, including encroachment and walkway for a single family dock. Would you agree that your dock, as configured, like it is on this page, with the slips without decking, is a total of 700 square feet? So additional decking added to that configuration would create a surface area greater than 700 square feet.
It is, yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. I just wanted that to be in the record.
Ms. Richter, was that all your questions?
That is.
Okay, and then I will just add a note. I know that I already said I don't see the prior permit as being necessarily relevant in these proceedings, but to the extent Mr. Patrick has questions about compliance with the existing permit, Mr. Smith, you're free to reach out to Ms. Richter and work through those concerns.
Understood.
All right,
No further questions.
Mr. Beislein, did any other questions come to you after hearing Ms. Richter's questions?
No.
Okay, then you're excused. Thank you.
Okay. I'll just stay here.
I mean, unless Mr. Smith kicks you out and another witness wants to sit there. Mr. Smith, any other witnesses that you'd like to call?
Yes, Brennan, I'm gonna call, can't remember your last name now that I'm saying your first name.
with chassis.
Can you spell that for me?
CHASE.
Yeah.
And the
This is
spelling of
tough.
his first name on your witness list.
Yeah, BRENNAN, is that correct?
Yeah.
Ian.
Ian, okay, thank you.
I was gonna have him state his full name for the record and spell it,
Oh, sorry.
so if you can go ahead and do that.
Well,
for
I'll
us.
swear you in first. I want to make sure that you swear and affirm the spelling of your name. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Okay. Witness is yours, Mr. Smith.
Thank you. Mr. Chassis, could you please state your full name for the record?
Brandon Chassis.
And what do you do for a living?
I'm an architect.
Are you familiar with the Patricks, Mr. and Mrs. Patrick?
Yeah.
Could you tell us how?
We've designed a couple of houses together now.
Where were those houses located?
Very close to Odin Bay. Odin Bay or Jackson.
Those roads or those places?
Those are roads within Odin Bay.
So Jacqueline is the road?
Yes.
And you designed one house for them there? And how long ago was that?
3 or 4 years ago.
And what about the Golden Bay Road or property?
I mean, Jacqueline was 4 years ago, the other Odin Bay was 2 or 3 years ago.
So those were single family residents on the islands.
That's correct.
Have you designed anything else for the Patricks? Did you work on some boat garages for them? Okay, well, how would you characterize what you did for them on that project?
Doing architecture for the boat garages.
When I asked you if you did any other work for them, that's what I was getting at. So you did the architecture for the boat garages?
Yes.
And did you prepare what's in front of you as exhibit 14 there?
Yes.
And in calculating the square footage or the footprint of those boat garages, were you provided information on how to calculate that?
Yeah. The Department of Lands gave us the overall square footage, so we matched that.
So in your professional opinion, working on this, you have matched the footprint of what you understood was existing in another location?
Correct.
And do you know where that location was?
I knew it was in the state of Idaho. I didn't know where the marina was.
And how did you go about knowing the square footage of the prior boat garages?
The permit that we provided.
And did you review that permit yourself?
Yes.
And on the plans in 14, to the best of your knowledge, does that footprint match what you saw in that permit?
Yes.
I have no further questions for this witness.
Okay. Mr. Beisling?
No question.
Ms. Richter?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
I have no further witnesses.
Okay. So with that, I'm not seeing anybody from the public that desires to comment, on this project. I don't see any legal issues that came up that goes beyond the scope of what's already been briefed in the pre-hearing statements. But I will obviously defer to the parties. Ms. Richter, was there anything that came up here today that you would like further briefing from the Department of Lands perspective on?
No, thank you.
All right, Mr. Smith?
I guess I would only reserve the right to respond if objectors intend to file something post-hearing, if the hearing
I think
officer allows that.
everybody would be allowed to respond. if
But I
that
have
were to
I have no opening brief. I could make an oral closing statement if that would be helpful, but beyond that, I don't see a need for further deliberations.
Okay, and then Mr. Beisling, did anything come up here today that makes you want to further legally brief the issues in this case?
The only thing that I keep hearing is that there's something that allows a permanent grandfathered thing to be moved, and I've never seen that rule.
With that question being posed, Ms. Richter, would you like to provide a statement, even if brief, from the Department of Lands position for a response or agreement from Mr. Smith and Mr. Beisling following this hearing?
Sure. Certainly would be happy to. I believe the Department of Land's pre-hearing statement does address that issue, but I'd be happy to.
Yeah, I don't require anything further. In fact, they have their position on that. I just didn't know if there was something that I was not seeing. So, yeah, I don't think there's any. If the hearing officer would like a closing brief, I have no objection to doing one.
I don't see a need for one. The opening briefs were all sufficient in my mind for me to understand the application's position, IDL's position, and objector's position. I didn't pause and say, what does this mean and what do they mean by this? And the evidence today here helped me, so. All right, well then with that, I think that these proceedings are closed, and given that this is a 58-1306 proceeding, the director's final order will be due 30 days from March 5th, which at or around April 4th, I believe, April 5th, 6th. And so my recommended order, I was gonna Google it, but that's generally about when the orders will be due. My recommended order will be issued within the next 2 to 3 weeks to give him time to review the record as a whole, review this proceeding, and issue his final order. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Peter, do you have Dale Goble for ad law?